The Junior 1000 Ecosse Challenge returned to where it all began at the start of the 2025 season. 24 registered crews descended on Anglesey racing circuit for 2 days and 2 points scoring opportunities, squaring off against the competitors from the Formula 1000 Championship, with both championships still to be decided. Day 1 dawned damp after some very heavy rain in the days leading up to the event. Mackenzie Snowden and Jonathan Turnbull had spent many hours at track days pre-event working on a smooth circuit driving style. And the hard work was clearly paying off, the Up grabbing its first fastest time on SS2 and dominating the rest of day 1, fastest on every remaining stage. A new laser light system really helping in the dark stages, and they took a 42-second lead to bed with them. William Patterson came into Anglesey still in with a shout of both championship titles. It was a difficult start to the weekend, one of the camper van's windows blowing out on the journey south. But with Kirsty Riddick in the hot seat for this round, William was at his spectacular best, pushing the car hard and flirting with the edges of the road, lying second overnight. Ollie Forrester and George Myatt had to balance speed with safety in their own bid for the Scottish title. They started strong, fastest on the damp stage 1, and were lying second going into the dark. The night stages didn't suit them as much, and they dropped to third, 11 seconds down on Patterson and Riddick after day 1. James McLaughlin was joined by Andrew Blackwood for the final round of the season, and it was a lively start, the up spinning on the second corner of SS1. After that, however, James was showcasing just how far he's come in his first season of rallying, getting on really well with Andrew and lying fourth overnight. After their gearbox issues at the McRae, the Reese Motorsport team had worked hard to sort a solution for Reese Purvin and Richard Simmons. That and some suspension tweaks were working well, and they were in the top 5 after day 1, despite clipping some tyres on Richard's side of the car. Stars of the McRae, Henry Canoyle and Catherine Price, were another crew who could still take the F1000 Championship if others slipped up. Saturday was clean and tidy, rounding the day out 6th in the Junior 1000 standings, 8 seconds back from Purvin and Simmons. Alfie Lethem was reunited with Craig Wallace for his final junior event, the Citigo man still in with a shout of a top 3 championship position. Saturday started really well with an excellent 5th fastest time in the damp of SS1. The rest of the day was tidy, but issues with traffic was holding them back from their usual pace. Gregor Reid and Simon Mills' event started with a bang, into some tyres on stage 2. Not their fault, brake issues causing the incident. Once the ABS sensor was changed, everything was back to normal. Gregor and Simon 8 seconds back from the Citigo on Gregor's first visit to Anglesey. Shane Collins and Rob Fagg made a steady start by their standards, 16th overall as the crews headed into the dark of Saturday evening, despite being hard to beat in the twisty sections. The dark was clearly suiting them, charging up to 9th by the end of day 1. That left the Igo tied on time with Kyle Green and Liam Jones. The new Citigo was looking absolutely perfect in its new wrap, but unfortunately the performance didn't match the looks in SS1. Outdragged by every other car on the way to 27th fastest, that was traced to an ECU issue. Liam able to sort it in the queue for stage 2 using the car's keys as a screwdriver. They were on a charge afterwards, back up to equal 9th by the end of the day. Another driver rounding up his junior career, Conor Pitcaithley and Chris Hamill, almost copied McLaughlin and Blackwood's line on the second corner of stage 1. The rest of Saturday was neat and tidy, although Conor felt he was holding back quite a bit, keen to not make a mistake. Tyler Beness and Alan Edwards 107 had been treated to a new exhaust since the McRae, the car sounding really crisp. Tyler found the car to be a bit too tail-happy on the damp stages on Saturday morning, but was very happy once things dried out. Some scuff marks down Alan's side, showing just how close they were running the chicanes. And just 1 second down on the Peugeot overnight, Thomas Babb was joined by the very experienced Barry Young for this round, the Skoda man keen to test out new suspension settings after the Forestburn training day. 13th after day one, Thomas confessed to be enjoying it, but wasn't very happy with his times. Ollie Poole and Brian Hamilton's Skoda was sporting new suspension, and they were also experimenting with deactivating the ABS. With a lot to learn, Ollie was doing his best to adapt to the new setup, a big lock-up evidence of his lack of experience with no ABS. They were also delayed when the valve came apart inside a rear tyre, leaving them essentially on 3 wheels in stage 6. Gregor Beatson and Ted Runciman were backwards in stage 1 and ran over one of the circuit foam boards early on. Apart from that, day 1 was pretty clean, Gregor really enjoying the dark stages in particular, ending at 28 seconds down on their fellow Skoda crew. Determined to do better than she had at Anglesey at the start of the year, April Blair and Ailey Williamson's weekend started poorly when Ailey's car broke down on the journey south. Day 1 was solid, April especially loving the dark and leading the ladies' battle by the end of the day, 9 seconds down on Beatson and Runciman. On his first rally, Charlie Kelso and Ian McRae were defying the seeding committee. Seeded last, they were lying 17th at the end of day 1 after a very strong run, 7 seconds down on the Citigo. It wasn't completely trouble-free, clipping a tyre and almost rolling, escaping with some extra camber on one wheel. Another on our final junior round, Lucy Crete and co-driver Chloe Fleming still had a job to do, looking to wrap up a 4th ladies' title. Saturday was frustrating, finding themselves regularly stuck behind other competitors, ending the day 18th, 14 seconds back from the Blue C1. Another driver on our last junior event, Darcy Morrison and Susan Shanks, were determined to enjoy themselves. Day 1 was very consistent, Darcy more confident behind the wheel now that she had passed her road test, although she felt it hadn't prepared her much for rallying in the dark. Amy Wallace and Ewan Stanhope were another member of the near spinning crew in stage 1. In Amy's words, gathered up with only mild panic. Day 1 was good, Amy loving the stages, especially the flowing nature of the chicanes, lying 20th overnight. And after their McRae disasters, Kayla Wallace and Richard Crozier's Yaris had undergone a serious amount of surgery before Anglesey, sounding far fitter than it had before. The first 2 stages were completed without a rev counter or speedo, but that was an easy fix, and they survived flirting with the edges of the road in stage 5. The Yaris was over 6 minutes up on Asa Pinder and Dilwyn John. The C1's gear selector got stuck in 2nd in stage 2 and then jammed between 3rd and 4th midway through stage 4. They soldiered on, 22nd at the end of the day. Angus Henderson and Graham Douglas copied Gregor Beatson's line in SS1, but after that they were right on the pace, setting top 10 times until it all went wrong in the dark. Angus blinded by another competitor's lights and they piled straight into a gate post. There was a fair amount of damage, but the team, aided in no small part by Mark McCubbin, got them back into the fray, Angus saying the car was still handling perfectly. And it was also a tough day for Emma Finlay and Craig Neely. It started with a stage max in 2 with a missed split, and then the car died completely on the start line of stage 4. That was traced to a battery failure, and they were scouring the service area for a replacement. Thankfully they found one and headed off into the dark, setting 2 clean times to round out the day. Day 2 was drier, time to decide the championship results. And day 2 dawned with a broken engine mount that took out Pinder and John's gearbox completely on the way past. That led to 3 maximums while the team fixed it, but they managed to get back out for the last 2 stages, rounding out Ace's junior career with 24th Scottish and 36th overall. Finlay and Neely enjoyed a cleaner day 2, although they were one of the many crews to miss a split, Emma rounding out her first year of competing with 23rd Scottish crew home. Henderson and Douglas carried on in their now duct tape special Citigo. They managed to miss the same split on the second stage as Finlay and Neely, but they persevered to make the finish in 22nd. Blair and Williamson's day 2 was going strongly until an unfortunate stage maximum spoiled the job a bit, dropping them to 21st. Without the maximum, they would have been right in the mix for the Top Ladies Award, showing just how far April has come this season. But day 2 was very clean for Wallace and Crozier, especially after they adjusted Kayla's seating position. Kayla rounding out her junior career with a solid 20th Scottish crew home. Wallace and Stanhope's second day was more dramatic, the green Citigo taking out some cones, and Ewan made a rare mistake on the maps, missing out a corner. Thankfully, Amy knew where she was going, rounding out her junior career with a solid 19th Scottish driver on her first visit to Anglesey. Day 2 was more of the same for Morrison and Shanks, wrapping up the event 18th Scottish registered crew and a solid second in the ladies. Hopefully we'll see Darcy and Susan back out as a senior crew in the near future. Kelso and McRae were pushing even harder than they had on day 1, although Charlie was feeling that the car's suspension was too soft. 17th Scottish crew and 21st was an excellent start to Charlie's rallying career, and there's sure to be more to come as he gains more experience. Day 2 was more competitive for Cree and Fleming, closing in on Beatson and Runciman all day, and despite some tears before the last test, finishing up just 14 seconds back from their long-term rivals. That was enough for another ladies' title, a great way to round off Lucy's junior career. In Gregor and Ted's car, disaster struck early for Ted's glasses, coming apart mid-stage. Gregor's dad David was on the case, sorting them with some fashionable pink duct tape and some cable ties. 15th Scottish crew home, Gregor was a little off his normal pace, but was delighted to finish the rally with no damage done to the car at least. Sunday saw Poole and Hamilton battling terminal understeer in the drier conditions, leading to even more experimentation with the setup. A chicane penalty also didn't help, on the way to 14th Scottish crew home. Green and Jones slipped back slightly on day 2, the new Citigo ending its first event 13th of the Scottish registered crews home. But there was a tie for 11th. The faster Sunday stages once again exposed Colin and Fag's Igo's lack of power, but they were still 11th going into the final stage. Unfortunately, a frustrating overshoot would cost them time, ending up tied with Babb and Young. The Citigo man enjoying a much more positive day, tying with the Igo on the very last stage. That gave Thomas and Barry the nod in the tiebreak after being faster on SS1. Just 1 second up on that tie, Sunday was also very strong for Bowness and Edwards. Tyler and Allen outperforming their older car once again, ending up just 13 seconds back from 9th place in the Scottish ranks. And that place belonged to Pitcaithley and Hamill. They turned up the wick on Sunday, clipping a front wing and a tyre, but setting 5 top 10 times out of 6. 9th Scottish crew home was a good solid way for Connor to finish off his junior career. There was another moment on day 2 for Reid and Mills with a slight off in SS11. Despite that, it was another clean run, running out the event with an excellent 5th fastest time on the final stage, wrapping up Gregor's first season with 8th Scottish registered crew home after the 2 days. Letham and Wallace put on a charge towards the end of the event, Craig breaking out the secret weapon of the Thomas the Tank Engine theme. It's a long story, best to ask Craig himself. Unfortunately, they didn't quite do enough to grab a championship podium, but it's been an excellent season for Alfie in 2025. The faster Day 2 stages were less successful for Purvin and Simmons, showing up a lack of top-end grunt, but they were still mixing it near the top. Rees made sure to hit some more tyres on Richard's side to complete the weekend, on the way to a very solid 6th after 2 days. Day 2 saw Knoyle and Price turn up the wick, second overall in the day, setting 4 second fastest times on the trot. The older C1 crew defying the newer cars once again, and doing enough for Henry to grab third in the final F1000 championship standings. And on it for the 2 days, McLaughlin and Blackwood's excellent pace was rewarded with 2 novice category wins and top overall novice in the 2025 championship for James. 4th Scottish crew home was a new personal best result for James, and it seemed to have had a strange effect on Andrew, claiming he was actually enjoying himself. That left the top 3 and the destination of both championships. Only needing an 11th place finish, Forrester and Myatt were swapping times with Patterson and Riddick. The 2 cars tying on time for the day and ending the event just 10 seconds apart. Third overall gave a relieved Ollie and George the Scottish Junior title after an excellent year-long battle. And the Blue Citigo crew enjoyed swapping times all event with their regular rivals on the way to a very solid 2nd overall. That gave Williams 2nd in the Scottish Championship race, but was enough for him to take his first F1000 title. But dominating Day 2, Snowdon and Turnbull were fastest on every Sunday stage to grab the win by over a minute. That was enough to give Mackenzie 2nd in the F1000 Championship standings and 3rd in the Junior 1000 points after a very strong year. There was also the small matter of the Tunnocks Cup, pitting the Junior 1000 crews against the F1000 crews in a battle for supremacy. It was closer than it had been in the past, but Team Junior 1000 came out on top once again by 54 points to 47. William Patterson doing the honours and accepting the trophy on behalf of the Scots. So Scots on top on both sides of the border, but let's hear from our new Scottish champions Ollie Forrester and a very clearly emotional George Myatt.
I'm over the moon, yeah, it's been so close all year. It's been very nerve-wracking all year, but it's been so close, and I've tried to just keep as consistent as possible all year, and it's paid off.
I think it's quite emotional. Yeah, it really is.
Obviously your dad's over there on his phone, he's been by your side the entire time, so is your mum. Really great to have them support you here.
Yeah, certainly is. Just unfortunately my mum can't be here this weekend, but I'm sure she's given more support than ever from home, so thanks, big thanks to them, and big thanks to all my sponsors and all my family and George and just everyone who makes this possible for me to go rallying and ultimately live my dream. So no, thank you.
Can I just say, I've not got a contract for this year, so anybody looking for a navigator.
So that's it for the 2025 Junior 1000 Challenge. Hopefully 2026 is just as competitive.